Dant Crossing, Gethsemane, Kentucky. Timeless hospitality that stirs the spirit. Dant Crossing is a one-of-a-kind destination for unforgettable weddings, memorable corporate events, day trips, and weekend getaways. The pastoral campus is anchored by Log Still Distillery and includes an amphitheater that seats 2,000, a 12-acre lake for fishing and unique lodging options, creating an immersive experience that's rooted in the community and culture of our little slice of Kentucky. More attractions will open soon at Dant Crossing, including our 21,000 square foot distillery, which we will have the ability to produce 15,000 barrels of spirit each year, a network of wooded walking trails, fully functional private train depot, farm-to-table restaurant, and the Legacy, a premier wedding and events venue. Whether you're looking to host an event, book a stay, or reserve a tasting, we're ready to welcome you. Learn more at dantcrossing.com.
This is Alan Bishop, head alchemist at Spirits of French Lake Distillery. We're glad to introduce to you our newest bottled and bond bourbons, the Lee W. Sinclair 4-grain bourbon and the Matty Gladden High Rye bourbon. As always, these two bourbons are deeply rooted in the history of our location in the Black Forest of southern Indiana. Always double pot distilled, never chill filtered, made using the finest grains, alternative and historic yeast strains that we propagate ourselves, and the methodology that once made southern Indiana an epicenter of American distilling. Matured gracefully in 53-gallon No. 2 char, new American oak barrels, using a low 105 entry proof. The Lee Sinclair presents an oak-forward profile, which pushes forward the definition and conversation about bourbon possibilities, while the Matty Gladden graces us and demonstrates respect with her 35% rye mash bill. It's not just the spirits in the bottle, it's the spirits of the place. Respect the grain and drink responsibly.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die.
Oh,
I tell you
right.
Here
we are. It's
Tuesday
night here in Canton, Ohio.
Last day of May.
The Scotchy Bourbon Boys coming to you. We are Facebook living this baby. Now I got to turn it down. There we go. We are having some real good technical smoothness as usual, but we are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. This here is Xavier. I am Tiny. We are ready to go on a Tuesday night. Remember, www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Check out everything Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Get some bios on us. Check out our merchandise. We have Scotchy Bourbon Boys T-shirts. We've got Scotchy Bourbon Boys Glencairns. You can get Scotchy Bourbon Balls. We make our bourbon balls fresh. Push it. Usually we sell a lot during the holiday season, but at any time of the year, if you're there, you can place an order. You put us on the spot to make some of the best bourbon balls that money has to offer.
I'll tell you what, they're phenomenal.
So, we are on all podcast formats. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. That's what we forgot before.
TikTok, yeah.
And
Patreon.
We're on Patreon, and then also just anywhere on social media.
We really need a cue card or a cheat sheet.
Yeah, because it's so many different ones. Right now, we're on Facebook Live. Yeah. If you want to leave we're watching the chat. So if you leave any chats from any place, anywhere, I know right there I'm watching, but if you're in, let me just check to see if the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, I'll get out of this one and get...
Sorry, could you say that again?
No, I can't. Okay, anyways, that was Siri jumping in.
While you're doing that, I'd like to welcome our new members we have. We've got Scott Keffer, James Presley, Tony Rosansky Jr., Matt Leisen, Steve Connell, Brett Shellhammer, and Alex Prinzhorn. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad to have you with us.
Yeah, look at that. Active members at the time, and nobody's watching. Awesome. Maybe I should get out of this one and go check somewhere else. But anyways, no, I'll go back
I thought you said we had 10 people watching us, or were they not members?
Those were to start off, and then it went down. But yeah, they weren't members right now. So anyways,
we chased them out in a hurry.
Sure that if you want to comment, or we'll you could do it live chat. Okay, so anyways, we'll just leave that alone for now. But know that we just did the new members, so that our Facebook group is growing. We are going to have 1,000th member bottle giveaway. We will have, at 500, we had a special label for our 500th member on an Elijah Craig small batch bourbon that we gave away for our 500th member. But we are coming up on our 1,000th member. We are 912 members strong, and we will be giving away a special bottle for our 1,000th member. So that's kind of cool, something that's coming up. And then, so lots of fun. We're thinking of having a July meeting. It looks like July 9th we're going to have it. It's probably going to be at my house because my bourbon collection is getting out of hand. And for the members that come, I want to be able to have a meeting that I can share some good bourbon that I've acquired over the past, it's been about 6 months, I think, since we had might even have been 7 months since we've gone to the barrel room. So I think this one will be at my house, back deck kind of thing, and we will do some tasting. It'll be a beautiful July meeting there. So that brings us to our main topic tonight. And the reason why the topic is coming up at the moment is because in 2020, the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau changed the glass bottle legislations in the United States. Now, a 700 milliliter bottle, or a 70 CL, which is centiliters, basically is the standard bottle for whiskey and spirits across Europe and the rest of the world. 750 milliliters is the United States. So they changed it so that you could do 700 milliliter, 720 milliliter, 900 milliliter, and 1.8 liter to allow that for being a standard fill for distilled spirits. So
have they done away with the 750?
No,
altogether?
You still can do 750 and one liter, but they added those in 2020. And until just recently, it really wasn't a big deal. It's 2022. Nothing's been changed. But this week, early last week, Jack Daniel's released their bottled in bond and their triple mash. That's what we're going to be tasting tonight. This is triple mash blended whiskey. Now, this triple mash is a 700 milliliter bottle. So if you look at that, it's a bottle of Jack Daniel's, and there's actually, if you want to pull that Jack Daniel's gold box right over there, that is another. We'll put it up against. Now, there's some crazy. Now this is a 750 milliliter. Just pull it out. You pull it by the neck and just pull her out. Yep. So now you're looking at a 750 milliliter bottle. Now you can tell the difference right there. Big difference, right? How much? And this is, that's a huge difference as far as looks. But you're only talking about losing I believe I can go down here. I know it. I think it's 1.69 ounces. Yes, 1.69 ounces less. Now, some people think that they think we could put this off. Just put that right over on the barrel right there. Yeah, just set it right there. Some people think that this is a bad thing. Of course, you're losing 1 point. Are they going to lower the price? Now, I would tend to say this triple mash, in my opinion, if it was a 750 milliliter bottle, they would have probably sold it for $39.99, $40. This is a special release of Jack Daniels. They've never had, this is 3 bottled in bond whiskeys put together to make their triple mash blend. And these 3, this special has never been introduced. So Jack Daniels took it, and which is Brown Forman, which also makes Old Forester and Woodford Reserve. So this is the start. I mean, the bottled in bond Jack Daniels, they're new. They're not taking what they've been making before and reducing it. They're offering a new offer. This was $35.99. So they might have cut the price just a little bit, but then again, maybe they didn't. We don't know. But there's a couple things. So if you're the obvious reason that most people are gonna go, it's gonna go negative, because in this time, especially in this time and space, this will be for you a little later, in my opinion, the world has gone negative. So there's just going to be a shit ton of people that are going to be like, well, we get 1.69 ounces less. This is, what do they call it? Inflation. What's the word for it? Inflation, downsizing inflation, where
right.
Package inflation. You know, it's instead of raising the price, you're getting less.
Right.
You get less Wheaties, same price. You get less everything. But in this case, because this is standardized, okay, so Jack Daniels is the 6th largest selling whiskey in the world, the number 1 selling whiskey in the United States as far as a brand. And as the 6th selling, they have to make 700 milliliter bottles and 750 milliliter bottles. So there's going to be a certain amount of streamlining happening if they're all 700 milliliter bottles. 2, there's a glass shortage going on. So every 1.69 ounces, and I believe there's 25 ounces, roughly 25 ounces in a 750 milliliter. So every 25 bottles or 24 bottles, that you get the 25th and the 26th, you get an extra bottle. So there's going to be, with the same amount of glass, more bottles that they can make. That's 1. 2, it's streamlined, correct? Now they're all 700 milliliters. All they have to do is adjust the change. They don't have to have 2 lines. They don't. Dylan was like, what's the bottle right there? It's the bottle right here is, this is Jack Daniels triple mash. It's 700 milliliters. We have the other bottle, if you want to we'll do it
and
again.
we've got Martin Super Nash watching.
We got the other bottle, Dylan, right here, which is a 750 milliliter. It's not, I mean, this bottle, although this is one of their special bottles, and it's thicker and it's longer or whatever, but you can see the difference. But 1.69 ounces less in the 700 milliliter bottle. Now, like I said, everybody is thinking, you know, and they're kind of, are they complaining that they get less and they got to pay the same? Or in this case, maybe you got a little less. You didn't have to pay as much. They didn't charge. But they got more bottles with the same amount of glass. That's one aspect.
You know what? And I was thinking of another aspect just now, and I don't know that this is an aspect that may only exist between my ears, but I would think that if you want to compete in European or worldwide markets where most of the other product is packaged in a 700 milliliter bottle, that you would want to have the same amount, and then you could the consumer could then accurately rate what he's paying for each type of whiskey based on a common purchase size.
Right. Now, there's one last positive aspect, and a lot of people go with this positive aspect and have been thinking about it, is that although you get 1.69 milliliters left, what happens is, and this one goes, I believe this one went into it.
1.69 ounces
Okay,
left.
so the 2020 release of King of Kentucky, which had only 2,700, only had a 2,700 bottle run, and only 2,700 people had a chance to get it. If it would have been so if it would have been a 700 milliliter release,
You had more coverage.
2,892 bottles, 192 more people would have been able to sample King of Kentucky. So basically, let's just say all of us bourbon hunters that are out there, when you think of that, and these are facts off of Breaking Bourbon. This was a great article. It made me, when I bought the 700 ml, I wanted to do it. Then when I researched it, they really did a good job already researching it. So basically, 192 more people got to get would get a bottle of that King of Kentucky, and that might mean you get it. Same thing with just take Pappy for instance. Nobody ever, but if they're releasing Pappy and they can release that many more bottles and everybody has a shot, wouldn't you, as a person who got a bottle of Pappy, give up 1.69 milliliters of that so that somebody else can get it?
Is that a trick question? Seriously?
It's not. I would in a second. I mean, Pappy isn't a mass consumption thing. It's a hoarding thing. You know what I mean? So I myself would definitely think that smaller bottle allowing people to have more just makes sense. And so here's the stats on the Jack Daniels, which is Brown Forman. They're the sixth largest, and then overall the largest, like I said. They estimated 12.3 million 9-liter cases. So when you do that many cases, just think about just taking it down to 700 milliliter, how many more people will be able to get from the same amount of whiskey that they produce, what they need. So, and then when you figure the aspect is whether we like it or not, this introduction by the largest American whiskey and the sixth largest whiskey in the world, which now the 5 above them were foreign whiskeys, either Japanese or Scotches or whatever. They're selling 700 milliliter.
Right. That's
so
what I'm saying.
like you said, their market share is bigger as far as per bottle because they're basically, this might make the difference of, when you're talking about it, are we talking about cases, 12.3 million cases, opposed to the cases that Scotch is selling
right
above them? So does the fact that there's less whiskey going into the 12.3 milliliter cases, which means there's more whiskey to distribute? Or
there's more to distribute, and you're distributing on a common volume, and somebody can say, well, this whiskey costs this much per ounce. versus this whiskey costs this much per ounce. You can more easily do the math when you're varying only the price per bottle and not the volume per bottle.
I know we don't ever look at Jack Daniel's shortages. We do look at some shortages when it comes to the barrel strength and the single barrels that are there. Those are limited releases. But when it comes to Jack Daniel's, which is their main brand, that's selling the majority of the cases. Are we saying that they sell everything possible? Or are we saying that have they hit their ceiling is the question.
Right.
I don't know that. But overseas, they're going to sell more cases because there'll be less in there, so people will buy more bottles.
Right.
You know what I mean? In this case, and like you said, that's what it comes down to as far as, that goes. So it's really kind of how you look at it. I really think people are going to look at this negatively because we're, as a society, and especially we're so damn touchy right now, especially in the bourbon whiskey, American whiskey groups and everything. There's such a competition to get it. Now, those groups, if you realize you're going to be able to, you have a better shot at getting whiskey at 700 milliliters than you do at 750 milliliters. Who knows? But at the same time, I'm cool with it because if you look around everywhere in my studio, this is just a third of it. There's shelves over there, there's shelves over there, there's shelves over there. And I have so much that it's kind of cool that I'm only going to have to drink 700 milliliter in a bottle to, cash the bottle instead of
the extra storage space you're going to need for the bottles.
Well, at least I'll be able to, get through some of the bottles. But knowing this, everybody should start saving their 750 milliliter bottles because, 20, 30 years, you can talk to your grandkids about how they used to sell bourbon
back in my
day. They sold it in 750 milliliter. Look at these bottles. You don't see these bottles anymore. By then, it'll probably be 500 milliliter.
Right.
You know what I mean? You never know, right? But that kind of the 1.69. Greg Schneider is watching. Hello, Mr. Schneider. So I just think there's pluses and minuses, but overall, I'm a very positive person. And, I'm going to go with this is a good thing so that everybody else can get more whiskey from the same amount of those limited runs. Especially even when you look at Chicken Cock, if they switch to that 700 milliliter, more of us can get, we can get more of the Highland Rye. There'll be more. And then, and then some of the limited releases might be able to be a little bit cheaper, because they're producing so many more, 189 bottles on a 2,700 run.
Right. And
you know what I mean?
And the bottles do have less in them, so there's a chance that they could be
per bottle
slightly
could be a little
cheaper.
less.
Exactly.
Because they're able to sell more bottles.
Right.
For that same amount of whiskey.
Right.
You get an extra 200 bottles. You could cost effectively reduce that based off what you want to make for that volume of whiskey that you just put in. So, anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think you covered
Xavier?
it pretty well.
Okay. So, that brings us to your glasses. So, the main part of it is right here, and then there's a little bit right here, but we are doing the Jack Daniel's Triple Mash. Now, I have to admit, I've had this, and it's unique. So, we're going to barrel bash it tonight. We'll see what we can do. And you could give us a little bit on that.
Yeah, exactly. So, as you said, Jack Daniel's Triple Mash, it's a blended straight whiskey, a blend of bonded American malt, rye, and Tennessee whiskeys. Bottled in bond, 100 proof, 50% alcohol by volume, and in case you missed it, it's a 700 milliliter bottle. It is a triple mash, everything I just said, honey, malt, and soft oak with pleasant notes of honey, malt, and soft oak, leading to a long-lasting, well-rounded finish. Bottled in bond, they put the definition of it here, distilled by a single distiller during a single season and matured in a government-bonded warehouse for at least 4 years. So there you have it, folks.
Yeah, now, this is not anything like... Now, I didn't buy the bottled in bond because once again, I don't mind Jack Daniels. My father drank Jack Daniels when I was young, and as a kid and a young adult, I had my share of plowing through Jack Daniels because it was my dad's thing. So when I was in high school, my dad, one of the things that I would try and do is relieve my dad of his Jack Daniels collection.
The bottle kept the same level, but it kept getting lighter and lighter.
No,
and lighter.
I never went to the same. I didn't ever do that to my dad, for sure. I wouldn't do that to him because when you think about it, I was not. I was of the belief my dad knew what. Sorry, not sure. Greg says he's not sure about what Chicken Cock will do about the 700 milliliter, but my concern with the shift on sizes is this. Upfront prices might be
reduced initially,
but eventually companies will charge the same price for the 700 milliliter. And yes,
yeah, that's probably where it's going.
Especially with where the world has gone, it's kind of like the market of whiskey with the added expenses of everything that's been happening, the barrels, the glass, everything that's been happening. They can't really pass that on to consumers, where this will be maybe a way to pass that on to consumers a little bit, like it's splitting the cost. They get the 1.69 more ounces, but they didn't have to raise the price $10 because...
Well, it's kind of like your coffee container keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Well, and it's just like when you're talking about aged spirits, yes... 4, 5, 7 years ago, this price increase wasn't happening, but they're trying to meet the demand now. So this price increase is happening, and they're not going to be able to pass that on for the aged spirits time. 4, 7, 9 years. They can't pass that along. So when you think about it. This is one way that they can recover and keep being a viable business. And I agree with what Greg said. I do believe eventually, if something drastic doesn't happen, I mean, honestly, it's kind of like the aspect of the pandemic, of the medical part of it, has calmed down and is coming to an end. There's no doubt about that because we have everything. But at the same time, the damage to the economy and and to every business that's out there, just to truck it from across the country with the fuel prices, it's insane. So there's somehow the whiskey industry has to figure out how to keep doing what they've been doing and move on. So, and we all accept it in our food, and we're not liking it in some areas, but at the same time we understand what's going on in the business based off of the high cost of doing business these days. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we went through this. Cheers. This is very unique, and when you talk about it, technically they said it's a rye whiskey, it's a barley whiskey, and it's their Tennessee whiskey, which is technically bourbon. So you're mixing these mash bills, but that means that Jack Daniels has single malt. I mean, that's what a malt whiskey is, right? So you're talking about something that's coming out, but to put this all together, I have been recently a huge fan of wheat whiskey, especially barrel proof wheat whiskey. It's delicious to me, the toasted aspect of the bread and the wheat and the caramel mixture there, without in a subtle form, without the spiciness of, let's just say, rye or rye that rye adds, is really a unique thing for me at barrel strength. Now, a wheat whiskey at 80 proof, probably not so much, but you give me a barrel. But this here has the barley in this is just unbelievable on the nose. You could smell it. It's like bread dough almost, right? You smell that?
Yeah, you definitely get a wheat sense to it, more so than a corn sense.
But there's that barley, and then there's that bread. No, it's not the nose of Jack Daniels. Not at all.
Oh, no, the Jack Daniels nose is a sweeter nose.
It's more like Scotchish.
Yeah, I would say this is almost, it's funny you said more like Scotch. It's kind of like a similar nose to Jameson almost.
Now this is, did we
Irish
say the
whiskey.
proof?
It's 100 proof.
Yes, it's bottled in bond. So we're talking about 20. The normal Jack Daniels is 80 proof. So we're talking some.
And we're so old, we remember when the normal Jack Daniels used to be 86 proof.
Yeah, exactly. When Frank Sinatra started drinking it with Jackie Gleason. All right, so I really like the nose, and there's like I said, there's no astringent flavors on this nose. This is a delightful, fresh nose. I don't get ethanol. I don't get anything at all.
Greg Snyder comments, history has a way of repeating. When the U.S. standard half pints, fifths, quarts, etc. went up to 200 milliliter, 375 milliliter, and 750 milliliter in the early 80s, it was the same scenario. Yeah, very good point.
Yeah. But I think this scenario puts us, that scenario kind of transitioned us to this scenario. Because, we still, although we were on the metric system now, we weren't playing the same game that the rest of the world were. We were still different. I do believe, though, 750 milliliter for wine across the world is the standard, but I'm not exactly sure. Someone could, if somebody knows
could
that,
put it in the comments here.
Yeah, let me know what you think. But all right, let's taste this. Tastes like a caramel milkshake to me.
Oh, well, that's a really different taste than it is nose. That's for sure. I wasn't expecting that. It's delightfully different.
Oh, it's so good.
It is. This is a.
And that Kentucky hug, which is obviously a Tennessee hug, but once again, remember Brown Forman that makes Jack Daniels. Putting out the 700 milliliter bottle right now. They also make Woodford Reserve and Old Forester. This is the start.
Ask me what I taste on my side palate.
What do you taste on your side palate?
Say it.
You think you taste maple?
No, chocolate.
Chocolate.
I'm not kidding you. I absolutely. This has got a great taste. In fact, the nose doesn't do it justice at all.
I thought you were coming in for a crack.
Crack kills.
What the fuck? I'm going to have to remember that one. I'm putting that on the Facebook short reel and TikTok. I thought you were going to crack.
No, not at all. No,
Crack
that was
kills.
not a sarcastic comment. The first one wasn't. The second one was. But no, we for those of you that are new to us and haven't watched or listened, Tiny derives chocolate out of 2 out of 3 whiskeys that he tastes.
Oh,
and
not
so we always,
recently.
and he's probably right because he has a very sensitive palate. So we've had a tendency to tease him, and that's what I was saying. Well, I went to the great extent to say that this is not. I was dead serious, and I am. I taste chocolate on the side palate, and it's delightful. It's really good.
I can give you that.
This is good. I never thought I'd say that about a Jack Daniels expression.
It's like it's like also a milk. The malt aspect of this.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
got a milkshake kind of
It
taste.
sure does. It sure does. That's
That finish is long.
it is.
Wow. It's just like
What does that go for a bottle, Tiny?
like I said, $35.99.
$35.99.
So I'll
buy that.
And think
Yeah.
about this. Normally, when something comes out, standard prices $18.99, $24.99, $29.99, $39.99, and $49. And then when you get up into like the $54, the higher than $49, that's when you usually start to change, the prices. And that wasn't the case 10 years ago when we were buying Colonel Taylor for $32.99. But recently, that's usually so. The $35.99
is the new norm. Yeah.
is unique. So I think they had it I think that 1.69 they probably split the cost between us and them, and they gave it to us at a little less cost than probably not as cheap as what it could have been, but but it's damn for $35.99. Drink up, everybody. I mean,
this is good.
all right, so let's barrel bash this. Our barrel bashing system is based off of evolved barrel bashing system.
Exactly right.
We barrel bash with our bong hammer.
We barrel bash 4 categories: nose, taste, body, and finish. And we used to give up the 4 points on each one, but as Tiny rightly pointed out, we made a modification there in the last part of the year of 2021 where we actually have weighted what most drinkers feel is the most important, the taste and the finish. You can bash them up to 5. So you can have a total of 18. And on any of the 1 categories, you can actually give it a, like if it's a 4 category, you can make it a 5. If it's a 5 category, you can make it a 6. But you can only do that to 1 of the 4. And that's a ba-dum-bum.
A ba-da-pup.
A ba-dum-bum.
We were just watching. I wish I would have. Bada boom. That's what it was. We were watching Stranger Things, and that was one of the things that was coming out in there. And that's a 80s kind of saying. Bada boom. But we're a ba-da-pup. So there you go.
So much more cooler.
Because we are.
Yeah.
We're just fucking cool as shit.
More cooler. That was great English. Oh well.
We're the coolest.
That's right.
All right. That's just because it's cold in Ohio.
It's cold in this man cave. I'll give you that.
This man
I
cave.
may seem alert and awake. It's because I don't want to fall asleep. I'll freeze to death.
No, this podcast studio is damn cold because we need the whiskey to warm us up.
That's exactly
And it is
right.
the perfect temperature for my fat ass. So there's no doubt about it. So it's like that's why you can go upstairs and you can get the warmth, most of the time. But when you come,
we gotta keep Tiny on ice. That's
when
for
you
sure.
come into the cave, it's cold enough to make what are those? Where the dripping, the stalagmites? Is that
Stalactites from
Stalactites?
the ceiling.
There you go.
Stalagmites from the ground.
Right. Okay. So stalagmite. I was right.
You were stalactites.
Wow.
from the ceiling.
Tiny used a big word and you
And
didn't have to
nailed
sound it out.
Oh my God, that's a first.
Here, do it again.
Boom! Yeah, as he breaks my knuckles.
Yeah. Woo. All right. So, anyways, let's give this. All right. So, in my opinion, we'll start it off. I'll give the nose. Or do we got something? Is Greg still? He's still commenting there.
He sure is.
Yeah, we're sorry. Yeah, let's see. Probably over 2.5 million barrels plus.
He put a lot more there for us. Okay, after we said the same scenario, he said 750 milliliters is the standard in spirits for the international market anywhere outside the U.S. And Greg, speaking in the first person, says, I was responsible for every barrel made for Jack Daniels from 1980. Forgive my blind eyes. Let me put on my glasses. Greg, my God.
1989 to 1998.
1989 to 1998. And... yeah, spent several days per month in Lynchburg ensuring the barrels met their expectations and our specifications. Probably over 2.5 million barrels plus. There you have it from Greg Snyder, who was involved with the production of Jack Daniels.
The cooperage at that time at Brown Forman.
The cooperage for 10 years, basically.
Well, and thank you, that was right at the time when we were when I was drinking Jack Daniels. So I got to taste what he was making.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure that I did. It wasn't my go-to whiskey at the time, but I'm sure I did.
Yeah, it wasn't because it was bad whiskey. It was because it wasn't good whiskey to you.
Well, I'm not a huge maple fan, but as we all saw with Widow Jane Decadence that we did with Lisa
maple
Roper Wicker,
syrup.
that stuff is insane. It's really good.
Yeah, you like more straightforward than essence.
Yeah,
the essence
but
is what you
the
don't
thing.
want.
The thing is too, Jack Daniels. We thought that was strong. Now we're used to drinking 100 proof and up, and it's like drinking soda pop now.
Right, and that is something that I wouldn't call. We love high proof, but I'm also a guy that doesn't mind from time to time a low proof. I'm a big fan of Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden's quite good.
I mean, their toast is good. Their rum barrel rye. There's just some really good expressions. So, anyways, all right. So I'm gonna go first on the nose. It wouldn't be a podcast without Alice, right?
No, it wouldn't be. Well,
she's the twinkle in my eye.
She
these days.
you allow your grandchildren into your heart, and that's just a great thing.
All right, into my heart is this whiskey.
Right now,
there's a good segue, but at the same time, let's. The nose, in my opinion, is delicious. Not delicious. It smells really good, but it is the weak part of the whiskey. So I'm going to give the nose a 3 out of 4.
You said exactly. The nose mails it in a little bit. It's not a bad nose. You get the warm bread smell, but man, it gives you absolutely no clue as to what you're in store for the taste. So let's give me a 3 on the nose also.
All right. So one of the things about using these Glencairns that Martin Duffy of the Scotchy Bourbon Boy, but he's also the Glencairn glass representative, is one of the things to check out your body is you can set it on its side like this right here and let it roll around, coating the edges of the whiskey glass. And then when you bring it up, you check how it sticks to the glass, but you'll see those legs. Let's see if as they form, they're holding strong, but you can see the leg at the top just starting, you're looking, and the viscosity on this whiskey is delightful. It's still, there you go. You can see it on that back and see as it pours down, the legs that are there. Let's see, there you go. You can see some of those legs. And it sticks to the glass for a while. And the legs are thinner as far as the distance, but they form, and then they turn into droplets, which means that there's a nice fatty protein aspect to this particular 3-mash bourbon. So, nice body on that for the glass.
Yeah.
Color is a little bit like a dark caramel, right?
It's a real deep amber. Yeah.
So here we go. After a while, I have to agree with you. The chocolate now,
Is insane.
This is the most chocolate, and then it malts. So now, when I first did it, I got a little bit of caramel, a little bit of a dark, like a really rich oak. But right now, that chocolate, after being in the glass and opening up, so it's almost now. At first, it was a caramel malt. Now it's a chocolate malt, and the finish. The malt is just so delicious on this. I really love high malt whiskey.
I guess you do.
I mean, I don't like the peat if you add in, but that malty taste. I've always been.
Well, yeah, you can have a malt.
I mean, for God's sakes, my mom used to buy just malt and make powdered malt and make vanilla malt milkshakes and chocolate malt milkshakes.
But she didn't blow burning sheep shit over it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's another one, man. There's another YouTube short and a TikTok blowing sheep shit over. It's just it's just what I love to do. It's like, and I'm not going to say that some scotches, and you know what? I honestly think that as we evolve this podcast, because we are the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, I really think that Johnny Walker High Rye was so delicious.
That Johnny Walker High Rye, I thought it was better than the Johnny Walker Blue.
But I think our palates are just evolving to be able to start to appreciate all this stuff.
The High Rye is a special product. That is unbelievable. That's very unique.
Right, but I think we got to visit more scotches to see if
I'm
we can
really
handle
anxious to get some Glengoyne.
I'm not talking about the peatiest of peat that tastes like gun oil. I mean, that was a special version of Ardbeg.
With a hint of kiwi shoe polish.
Yeah, but you know, Young Nose loved it. He drank the whole damn bottle. But at the same time, I think we're going to be getting close to be able to do that.
I would like to try some Glengoyne. I've heard about that. That is an unpeated scotch. I'm anxious to try that.
But even revisit my 15-year Highland Park, or some of these scotches that have some
or some Macallan single malt.
Yeah, we got it. So, but we'll have to do that. So, as far as taste, I really think, and I don't think I've tasted a whiskey. I would never expect this from Jack Daniels. Cheers, Brown Forman. Cheers, Jack Daniels.
I'll drink to that.
You put out a special. This is like Maker's Mark pecan pie kind of thing. This triple mash is nothing like they've put out before. I like their barrel strength. There's no doubt about it. Barrel strength Jack Daniels.
If this would have been a blind taste test and they would have said name the distiller that put this out, Jack Daniels wouldn't have been on the long list, much less the short list.
That's craft distillery delicious.
It is.
There's so much happening with that.
I haven't tasted this much chocolate since the special release that you had.
Oh shit! There's a technical difficulty.
Oh no!
It didn't do anything though. All right, it's back up.
All right, easy does it.
Nothing.
Okay. As I started to say, I haven't tasted something this chocolate since the special release that you had.
Since the last time Tiny shit his pants during a technical difficulty.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Well, right. Good night, folks. Woo! No, the special release that you had of, was that Rabbit Hole?
Yes.
That was very chocolatey. But I'll tell you what, this is not too far behind it, I don't think.
So I'm gonna, I was not expecting to do this. I tasted this before, but now that I'm analyzing it, I am gonna give this, for taste, a 5 with the Ba-da-ba. Ba-da-ba!
The taste is phenomenal. This is nothing I had expected out of a Jack Daniels product at all. I'm not a huge fan. Or say, up until about 15 minutes ago, I wasn't a huge fan. This is some really special stuff. It's delicious. It is. You have a little bit of heat on the tongue, but not unpleasant so. And I don't get a lot of caramel, but I got it on the side palate, and I'm getting it on the tip of my tongue too. Is just a mellow chocolate flavor, and side palate and onto the back of your mouth. There is no bitter taste. There are no wood tannins. There's not really, at least not that I detect, even an oaky taste. It's just like you're drinking chocolate, man. It's really good. So why don't you cue me up with a 5 and a Ba-da-ba also? Ba-da-ba.
Ba-da-ba! Boom! All right. Body. Big time body. It drinks like 110, 112 proof. it's that mouth filling. It's not so you could give the body a 4 total. So I'm gonna the chocolate. God goes
It's
into,
chocolate going all the way back.
but it just doesn't quite hit the cheeks. So I'm gonna give the body a 3. I liked what it did in the glass. It's full bodied. It's 100 proof. So most of the time when I give a 4, you're talking 127, 130 proof type whiskeys. But I'm going to give the body a 3.
The body for me is doing everything it needs to do. I don't need to add to anything to what Tiny just said, but I'm going to give it a 4.
Woo! Boom. So, if I could give, and I can't because Xavier reminds me all the time I can't break the rules, since I broke the rules so bad last Christmas. Maybe next Christmas I'll break the rules. But I'm going to
next
stay.
Christmas, next December, you get to break the rules once.
Okay. But in this case, the finish on this is long, and it goes between a caramel shake and a chocolate shake, and I can tell you this would be a fantastic end of the day pour, and it's worth not brushing your fucking teeth. So when you fucking fall asleep, so
it's a good after dinner dessert drink. It's delicious.
but when you fall asleep, this is what you're tasting, because it would stay there for
ever
a half hour. It's right there. It's just like my love for barley lately in the bourbon aspect, it has been off the charts. So what do we got? So JD claims they trickle their whiskey over charred sugar maple before barreling the whiskey into charred white oak barrels. So why not just barrel the whiskey in charred sugar maple barrels?
Yeah, that's a real good question.
Because deep down,
It's a bourbon.
yes, but deep down, they know that it's a bourbon, and they, although market it as Tennessee whiskey, they do want to have that conversation about it's a bourbon, it's not a bourbon, even though George Dickel solved that problem this past year in 2021 by putting out an 8-year Lincoln County processed bourbon. So they basically solved the argument and did what they needed to do. So that's what we come up with, Greg, as far as the answer.
So explain to me how does George Dickel putting out the 8-year solve the argument about Jack Daniel's being bourbon or not bourbon?
Because the Lincoln County process makes it Tennessee whiskey. Okay?
That's the.
But it doesn't disqualify it as being bourbon. But the argument of people who want it to be Tennessee whiskey opposed to people who want it to be bourbon, they're both right. But they have this argument. But George Dickel finally put it on a bottle that they put it through the Lincoln County process and called it bourbon.
I see.
Never did Jack Daniels do that.
All right.
They never put bourbon. They always put Tennessee. Never did George Dickel tell that particular expression solve the argument, because legally it is bourbon. And if you would put it in sugar maple, which, Greg, I really believe if you put it in sugar maple barrels, you probably would increase some and cause some really good whiskey to come out of it, but you would then separate yourself completely from being the bourbon that they already know it is. Now, I hope I answered that, and if you're still watching, please let me know if I was right. Now, the finish. We're down to the finish, right? And we said we would cut this, make this with underneath an hour. So I am going to go with the finish. I think this finish is definitely what I want in a whiskey. And I'm just going to give it a 5.
Ditto. It's sweet all the way through. It's just very pleasant. Give it a 5.
So you gave this an 18 out of 18.
Correct.
And I gave it a 17 out of 18.
So it's a 17.5.
It's a 17.5.
That's an awesome
Scotchy
score.
Bourbon Boy.
I would have never thought a Jack Daniel's product would have got that kind of score, but this is delicious.
He's not a huge fan.
No,
but
I'm not.
This right here, this triple mash, is delicious. And we just gave it a 17.5 for 700 milliliters at $35.99.
Yeah, $36 a bottle.
36.
Folks, if I would have paid $70 a bottle for it and it tasted like this, I'd have been happy about it. It's really delicious.
So, all right, that really brings us to the end of the podcast. Remember, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. www.scotchybourbonboys.com. Check us out. I'm going to get this right now. All right.
I believe you.
YouTube, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Twitter, @ScotchyThe. Facebook, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys group and Facebook page. And check out Jeffrey Mueller on Facebook because I do a lot of posts on there that are associated with the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. And then also Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and YouTube. And well, we do Patreon, and then also Facebook Reels.
All right.
So I pretty much got all social media covered, but we are also on all major podcast formats. But remember, like us, comment, and then also, like, comment, and subscribe. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, you nailed it.
So, that's another podcast for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Let me get up and we will cue the...
Thank you, everyone who joined us live. Thank you, Greg Snyder, for your very much appreciated and valuable input.
Yes, definitely, Greg. Thank you very much for watching. But remember, good bourbon equals good time and good friends, and go out and live your life dangerously. Little Steve-O is going to take us out. Remember, www.littlesteve-o.com if you like what you're hearing. And what he has done for our cover of the Alabama song is amazing.
Good night, folks.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
All right.
Is the
we
YouTube
are off.
crowd still with us?
Yeah, we're still with the YouTube crowd. We might give them a little extra
What
tonight.
about our Facebook?
Facebook Live is still right there.
Right.
All right. Let me get this. I got to do the audio magic and get this saving, and then we'll talk a little bit. Give everybody a little bit extra. Get back on the Facebook feed. How did that happen? There you go. Oh, just curious if you were listening to what I've taught you. Maple barrels don't contain tyloses. Okay. Why is that happening? Is your... Oh. I'll do this. It's because... There you go.
Sorry, just curious if you were listening to what I was taught you. Maple barrels don't contain... tyloses, which can cause the barrels to break. White oak is one of the few species of wood that contains tyloses. Okay, great information, Greg.
Yeah, well, there's even another one after that.
Greg Snyder says, love you guys. We love you too, Greg.
Yeah.
And once again, thank you
Thank
for
you.
your time. It's so much appreciated.
Jack Daniel. Triple mash, right? Mash. What does it mean? That's what this one's called. Did I say meme? There's no memes. All right, there we go. Scotchy Bourbon Boys. Let's save this to. Yep, that's what I save it to. All right. We're building the episode, so once that gets done, that's really we didn't give the YouTube people very much on the front end, but we could give them a little bit on the back end, right?
Sure.
So, because there for a long time they were just like, there it is. We're Jack Daniels, Frank Sinatra, Jackie Gleason. And
What we experienced here today is
so much fun about this. Yep. It's because there's so many surprises.
How you sharpen your palate and
what people are looking for 4 years later is exactly you're looking into different whiskey categories. One, just Fred Minnick did his Ascot Awards, and congratulations to Bullet Bourbon, their barrel strength bourbon won Whiskey of the Year.
congratulations,
Bourbon of the Year. And also, I believe it. So it won Bourbon of the Year. I love barrel strength Bullet. I'm not a fan of Bullet Rye. I'm not a fan of Bullet regular bourbon. But they're all their special. Their 10-year. Their barrel strength. Their American whiskey. Fan of all that. So, but the second place person. Or whiskey, so they took all the whiskey categories and winners and put them up against each other. Is this one's mine? That one's yours?
Yep, there's another person's joined us.
Yes. And they put all their whiskey up against each other as far as the categories, and wheat whiskey, which in the past has not done well because it doesn't, it's basically evolving itself into what whiskey is. So one of the cool things about it is that all the different categories of what wasn't accepted. It used to be bourbon during the bourbon boom. But now we're talking rye, we're talking wheat whiskeys, we're talking American single malt, we're talking, triple mash, barley, heavy bourbons.
Yeah.
There's never been barley
also
heavy bourbons.
as we've seen the corn whiskey as well from
mellow corn. So there's so many different categories that are out there that are becoming accepted that it just has been making whiskey so much more, what would you say, fun? I mean, we're getting
popular.
You got your barrel picks, all the different categories, state picks, store picks, club picks. I mean, the amount of variety.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, when you'd go to a restaurant, and I'm not talking 10 years ago, I'm talking 3 years ago, you'd go to a restaurant and people would ask you what kind of wine you'd like. And I'd always say, I like that corn wine. It's made in Kentucky. And, but, that's not even fun anymore because everybody, they expect a certain percentage of bourbon drinkers now. It's like you're not unique as you were. And that's in the course of 3 years, right?
Yeah, it's in the course of 3 years.
In the course of 3 years, you went from being obscure to mainstream.
Greg just said, beam me into the chat.
All right, let's beam him into the chat.
Yeah,
let's get him in here.
Yeah, so I think just, overall, the improvement of everything that's gone on and the fact that they still can't.
Yeah, how do we get him
that's recording. He's in the chat.
I think he wants to be.
Oh, as far as coming onto the.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying.
I don't know if I can do that. I'm not. I'm just recording one and whatever. I would.
There used to be a. Let's see what we can do here.
I don't.
Hey, yeah, Greg, there's a button there. The green button at the bottom. You have the like button and the love button, but to the left of that there is a green figure of a man and a camera. If you hit that, I think that will initiate you joining us if that's what you were referring to.
Live chat.
Yeah, I think if he hits that button right there.
Oh.
That button right there, I think, will put him on with us, I think. If that's what he meant by his comment.
Yeah, he wanted to come in to the chat and be a part of...
Right.
I don't know. Let's just see. Jeffrey Mueller is a lie. I've never brought guests into the chat. I see where you got that.
Yep.
But I don't know.
He just said he hit it. Is something coming on?
It would be right. Oh, he hit it. Let's see.
We wouldn't be the Scotchy Bourbon Boys if we didn't mess up the tech end somehow.
Live? I have no idea. I've never brought.
I thought we'd get a prompt.
Okay, edit, change colors, something wrong? Nope, that's not there. Did not get that.
If you hit that, did you get the request to join, Greg? Did that pop up when you hit it? Request to join? Or request to be in the live video?
We're trying.
We're trying really hard here.
That would be cool if we got you in, but I have no idea. Let's see what that is. Airplay, don't see your... Okay, that's not that. I'm trying to get you into bring. Oh, there it is. Bring them on camera. So I touch it. Request to join.
Okay, good.
Okay, wait. I might be able to find you. Okay. Dude, he came on early on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could do it. I can find it. I'll find it. Bring them on camera. Bring them on camera. This is fun because Greg Schneider, Martin Nash is watching. He came in after.
I see.
Greg Schneider. Okay, bring them on camera. Send request. All right, I sent you the request, Greg Schneider.
And so now you get to give us the fancy handshake back. God, we should be seeing him pop right up here, one would think.
Here we go, one more time. Did you get that? Bring you on camera. Everybody, we're trying.
We're trying like hell. Oh, good Lord. Why aren't we getting a handshake?
We should be able to.
This is not rocket science.
I mean, I put it. It's green. That should have done it. All right, let's see if I can do more.
Let me see if I can, maybe I can bring Greg in another way.
But look, I have it right here. Bring them on camera.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
You just did something, that's for sure.
You set the audience to public. Anyone can see your live video. Invite Greg to join on camera. Send request. One more time.
One more time, Greg. What happened here?
Wait, well, maybe I got to do it right here. Let's see if I have to do it on the... I might be able to do it on the Scotchy Bourbon. Okay, this isn't through the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. This is through me. Jeffrey Mueller. How to interact. Okay, wait. Let's go back to my Facebook.
God.
I'm trying. This is fun.
I know.
We are learning a technical aspect of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys as we speak. Let's see if we can do it. It's got to be...
Well, I have another way to bring him on in audio only. I can just get him on a...
Okay, here we go.
You got him?
I got him here. Let's see. Right here is the live feed, right?
Yeah.
16 comments. Greg Schneider. He's talking about, okay, we got to go up to... Really? Let's see if I have to do it on the... Okay, no, I got to turn it down.
Yeah.
There we go. Now let's see. There we go. Really? It's not going to...
Wait. Oh, shoot.
Comments. 16 comments. Beam me into the chat. Alright. Why doesn't it show me all the comments? I tried. Wait. There might be one. He says he keeps touching.
Okay, we'll get him on this way.
You're going to get him
Greg,
on?
I'm going to call you, voice over Facebook Messenger.
There you go.
Hello, is this Greg?
I think you need to turn it up.
I have.
Yep.
It's up. Well, apparently it's a communist plot because, Greg, we can't hear you.
Come on.
I can't believe this. I can't get him in.
You have to have it on...
It's
sound,
on...
The sound has to be on mute. Look down there. Is there a microphone?
There is, but it's not muted. There's mute.
Okay.
This is mute. This is unmute. Okay, accept.
There you go.
Okay, I see.
You brought him on video.
Can you hear me?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, Greg,
Let me see real quick.
We got you on video, but we don't have any freaking audio.
Okay, wait.
Oh, right there. Unmute. Is there a mute there?
No, it's right here. He can hear us.
We are terrible. Oh my god.
Okay, hold on. You're totally... Is your sound up, Greg? Are you muted on your end?
No, he's shaking his head no.
All right. You try. Wait, I'm going to hang up.
All right, Greg, I'm hanging up. Tiny's going to try.
Here we go. You go to the Facebook so we can monitor the people on Facebook.
Wait, I'm trying to hang up from him right now, and it won't let me hang up. This is crazy. There we go.
There we go. I'm going to try this. Here goes. Greg Schneider. We're going to go like this. We're going to go video call. Calling. There we go. Okay, we should. There you go.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
Good Lord, that hurt a lot.
Oh my God.
Thanks so much for joining us, Greg.
No, I was clicking on here and saw you guys were on live. So I can't resist.
Yeah, it's like a train wreck. You just got to slow down a little bit and see what's going on. Oh my gosh. How are you tonight?
Yeah. I'll slow down, but I don't want to get run over, buddy.
How you doing tonight, Greg?
Sorry?
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, pal. Doing great. I had a wonderful Memorial weekend with a beautiful young lady, and we had a ball in Louisville. I actually took her down to Bardstown Bourbon Company and showed her how I made whiskey. So
fantastic.
It didn't kill her, so she's a keeper. So
what is your lady friend's name?
Lisa.
Lisa. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. But she's something special, guys. But at any rate, love joining in. I love to bust in your shops whenever I can. So
we wouldn't have it any other way.
That's for sure.
Comment about Tyloses. The term is Tyloses.
Okay.
You're right. The Lincoln County process, they make the whiskey, and there's been a lot of litigation over that with Diageo saying, oh, no, it's bourbon, and Jack Daniels saying, no, or Brown Forman saying, no, it's a unique Tennessee product. And so anyhow, I guess they agree to disagree and sort things out, but the Lincoln County process, they make the distillate. It qualifies to be a bourbon. It's 51% corn, comes off still, lower than 160 proof, goes in a new charred oak barrel, and goes in a barrel lower than 100 or 125 or lower as well. So it qualifies to be a bourbon. But for years, Brown Forman bought Jack Daniels in 1956.
Yep.
Here I was born, okay? And they wanted that unique distinction. They wanted to be a Tennessee sour mash whiskey. And so they have controlled the governmental political realm to make sure that maintained its integrity. So they make the distillate. They usually use 80% corn in their mash bill. But they trickle it over charred sugar maple before they put that distillate in a barrel. And it gives it its unique sweetness. Again, it never was really didn't really hit my palate too well.
Yeah, me neither.
Brown Forman. I spent so much time in Lynchburg. I drank enough Jack Daniels to float a battleship. I'm telling you. But
sure.
But again, I preferred Old Forester. As far as we had a company function, I drank our Old Forester bourbon, and later Woodford, which at the time was 7.5-year-old Forester. But and the question I asked you, and again, I kind of talk about this when I do VIP tours at Bardstown Bourbon Company, is that one of the reasons that white oak is used to make barrels, when you quarter saw it, it contains tyloses. Tyloses is the membrane that kind of lays on the inner wall of the cell. And when you cut that tree, or it goes through hardship, but you cut that tree, the membrane collapses and it clogs the cell when you quarter saw it, so it won't leak. Red oak, pin oak, maple, birch, beechwood, you name it. Just pretty much any other tree. There's a few other trees that contain tyloses, but not many. So that's why white oak is used to make barrels. It contains tyloses, so when you quarter saw it, it won't leak. It contains other, chemical enhancing products for the taste as well, which you guys know and we've discussed. But and that was the answer to my question. So why don't they use charred sugar maple instead of white oak barrel? So just kind of busting your chops.
Yeah, no, that's good because we zeroed in on just the requirement aspect of bourbon being in a charred oak barrel rather than sugar maple or any other wood. But no, that's excellent information. You can bet we won't forget now. Seriously.
Well, I'll quiz you in September when you come back down.
Yeah. Hopefully we haven't killed the brain cells between now and then.
Well, hopefully you can come on the bus tour and do the tour. But I know you got to make sure that you can do that with everything. Oh, I talked to Randy tonight, and just so you know, you don't have to worry about Bourbon in the Air tickets because Bourbon in the Air is the opening night of the festival for the distilleries to showcase their high-end whiskeys, not what they're going to give away the whole time. So everybody gets extra tickets. So you're supposed to be there, maybe having one of your...
Boy, it'd be nice somebody let me know, Jeff. Jesus
well,
Christ.
like I said,
I don't know.
that's what I thought, but I ran that by Randy tonight when he called me, and he's like, yeah, Greg's supposed to be there serving up a special bourbon. Maybe you could convince with that extra stock of the tin, you just serve that up to get rid of some.
Well, thanks for the information. Seriously, I will reach out to Randy. I love to take my new lady friend and kind of show her that aspect of the industry and kind of what I'm involved in because I'd love to have her meet you guys as well. I mean,
we're looking very much forward to meeting her.
Yeah.
The team that's coming to do that booth, you just include her in there. I'm sure he's not going to stop her from coming.
Well, we'll see. If he does, I'll snap his scrawny little neck, and that's all right.
Okay, guys, let me rewind. We're on Facebook Live here, guys.
No, Facebook Live ended.
Did you end it?
We're just on YouTube.
Okay.
No, I love Randy. Randy's great. He's doing I tell you what, he's doing a phenomenal job with his Bourbon Fest. I remember 31 years ago when it started. I was a part of the very first one. I was on the board of the Kentucky Distillers Association. We kind of put it together. They really didn't have there was Bardstown Tourism, but they really weren't the main player, and we were. And we had a cocktail party. What year? That would have been
30 years ago. 31 years ago.
31 years ago.
Yep, that would have been what?
1991.
Yep.
Right? 1991. I worked for Brown Forman. I was director of operations for the cooperage at Brown Forman. Anyhow, I'll never forget it. We went down and we were going to have a cocktail party. And it happened at the gazebo of Stephen Foster's, my old Kentucky home. I don't know if you guys have been up there on the hill there at that site there.
Yeah,
at the park.
yeah.
They have a big gazebo. And everybody brought their whiskey. And we put it on the bar. They had finger food, cocktails. It was just a big party. One night, a couple hours long. And we had a ball. I mean, we know each other so well in the whole industry, and just have fun getting together, telling stories, and shooting the shit, and drinking everybody else's whiskey, and it's just a fun night. But man, it just grew immensely for me. I mean, exponentially, it just took off. And each year, there'd be different events. The gala, the black tie event, they would have They have a golf outing on, my old Kentucky home golf course there. And then they'd have to set up. They put big tents out on the golf course for the black tie gala event. I don't know if you guys ever went to the black tie gala event, but
yeah,
we did in 2019. We did.
Okay. And so same thing. I mean, they have the tasting and this big tents, and it downpoured. When it started raining, I mean, you're walking through mud on the golf course, getting to the tent. So everybody's in their black tux. My black shoes were brown by the time I got there, but it rained. Sitting there at the table, and this tent happened to leak right above where I was in the back. My whole back was soaked. I mean, it just one of those things. But it evolved, it grew, and it's phenomenal the way it's taken off. And again, kudos to Randy and David Mandel and the whole crew that's putting together now. I mean, they've done a good job of kind of reconstructing things, and I think it's headed in the right direction. Last year was a big success, so
Well,
appreciate what they.
Knowing Randy as well as I do, it's kind of like the distilleries basically said it's got to evolve into a whiskey event, and it's got to stop being a family reunion with beer and food trucks with funnel cakes and stuff. It's gotta they wanted an upgrade, and they got the legislature to change. So in 2019, you could get a whiskey up in the VIP lounge and bring it down and walk around with it, but you couldn't get anything but a mixed drink from all the booths.
Right.
Then in 2020, we all know that was a shit show and it was virtual. But then last year, you could get samples from the booths, which was huge. Now this year, you get samples from the booths, and they're included in your ticket instead of buying a $5 wristband to get a couple samples. But
Makes sense.
But also, the distilleries can sell bottles now. So this is going to be, besides the barrel picks the 22 barrel picks that he's going to be selling through Justin's House of Bourbon, the distilleries can sell whiskey at their booths, and I think this is going to take this into the number one bourbon festival in the world, but it's going to be right up there with whiskey.
Got my baby girl here, Shimmy.
There she is.
Oh,
Sophie.
oh, look at her. Greg, I'm not ignoring you. I'm looking for some pictures to send you from when we were there is what I'm doing.
So July 9th, it's a Saturday, and I think that's our next Scotchy Bourbon Boy meeting. But if that's not something that you can work out, one of these times you have to come up to Ohio.
I had that conversation last week with the new marketing director and the executive VP of sales. Said, we need to do an event in Ohio. I haven't been to Ohio yet, and I want to dovetail it with a visit to Canton so I can kind of hook up with my buddies up there for Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We've done so many podcasts. They've been such a great supporter of our brand and the industry in general. So, we need. So, anyhow,
that'd be a lot of fun.
So once you let them know, let me know the date, and that's the date it's going to be. You've set the date.
Sounds good to me.
July 9th, Jim, I know I've got to be in Indianapolis. Big Red Liquors, which is huge in Indy, or Indianapolis in general. I got to go up there for a tasting bottle signing event in Indy. So.
Well, I haven't named the date yet. So if they run it and give you something, I can always do it. Or if, let's just say it's August sometime, we'll work it out. But I want to work out one of the meetings for you, and we'll do it specifically to have
around you and around your schedule, and feature you and the products you represent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's continue talking about that because, again, we got some new people. I'm going to Wisconsin. I think I told you next week. I'll be up there. I'm leaving Sunday. I don't get back till Saturday. As soon as I hit the ground Saturday, I'm heading straight to Log Still Distillery for the second day of the barbecue event. So,
we'll be there. So we'll get to see you there.
All right, buddy.
We're there. 9th is our barrel pick for Knob Creek at Jim Beam with Sandy and Fred, and then the 10th and 11th we're podcasting from the reception area.
Okay.
So we'll 100% get to give you a hug.
That'd be awesome.
I'll see you down there on the 11th. Again, good Lord willing, and my flight's on time. I'll get there right around 1 o'clock when the tasting opens up. And I told Tyler Rothenberg, the brand director, said, you're going to have to fly solo on Friday because I'll still be in Wisconsin, but I'll get back in time. So
you're going to see Josh when you're up there, right?
I am, yeah. Josh Charleston.
Yep.
His whole group. I think at night we're going to do a tasting with the Wisco group. Sounds like a nice event, actually. Shannon's amazing. The salesperson that Grain and Barrel has, she handles not only Wisconsin but Michigan and Minnesota, and she's a go-getter, man. She makes it happen.
Well, all I can say is when you invited me down for the dinner at the country club in there with your son and your whole family, that was a special night for me. I always will remember that and get to see how good of a public speaker you were.
Now, what is your son's title at the country club? Is he a director?
No.
No, he's a member. He just lives in that neighborhood right there, Bill.
I see.
So, but he they're all close. I mean, he knows he's got a great reputation, and if anything, he learned from me was to be good to people, and they'll be good to you. So,
That's
Chris,
right.
losing Chris was bad for Grain and Barrel Spiller. They should not have lost him. I
I guarantee you, Amadi is he's he won't admit it, but he lost some shit. But all the guys who work for Amadi understand. They tell me, man, I don't know how Chris did it. He did everything for him. Amadi has 6 different people today doing what Chris. 6 different people.
Yeah, but Chris would have pulled that off easily. Whatever the goodness of you was definitely in your son. Meeting him was just like he just brings forth everything that's good that you bring forth. He already had gotten it. He gets it. There's no doubt. I mean, just meeting him, it was special. That was a special night. I enjoyed it.
I did too, but I'm so glad you could join us, and appreciative of you taking time to come see us and be a part of it, because it was a fun night. It was a fun time. That's kind of my crowd, my local group. I knew so many people in that crowd, and of any event I've ever done, that's the one I knew probably 80% of the group there. So it was fun. Yeah.
Well, that's when I realized you made me feel like I was part of your family. I really appreciate it. I got to that whole night was special for me.
You, Bill. I mean, I'm telling everybody. You guys are brethren. I'm Italian. And,
Yeah. Well, we feel the same way, Greg.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, for sure, buddy. For sure.
Yeah.
But anyhow, looking forward to seeing you here probably next month for a little bit anyway, and then
Yeah.
not soon. We'll see you in September for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a party, that's for sure.
For that week of festival, I mean, I ask just about every week, either Tyler or the marketing guy Kyle or Frank, the sales guy, and they say, well, we're still sorting that out. So, at any rate, we'll connect.
Greg, what a pleasure. Thanks for jumping on tonight. We're so glad that you had a good Memorial Day holiday.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of fun.
Yep.
You deserved it, brother.
We had that podcast the other night. I think the end of it, talk something about, I don't know, pipe threading or something. I don't know, something like that. But and, yeah, I had a great weekend, guys. Thank you.
Good. Well, hey, thanks again. You take care. Have a good night.
All right, guys.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good
Take
night.
care. Bye-bye.
Guys, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Greg Schneider.
So, we're still on YouTube Live?
YouTube, not live, but YouTube recorded.
YouTube eventually live to somebody.
Well, yeah, but that's the YouTube. That's what you get for YouTube Extra. There's no doubt about it. And thanks everybody for joining us. That was Greg Schneider, master distiller of Chicken Cock Whiskey. Had him on the Whiskey Live on Friday night, but he jumped in because he worked for a long time for Brown Forman, who makes Jack Daniels. And tonight we gave a 17.5 to the Jack Daniels Triple Mash in the 700 milliliter
Magnificent
bottle.
product.
Yeah.
You ain't going to find a more knowledgeable and more genuine person than Greg Snyder. So it's a real treat to have him join us again.
So it's great to have you guys here on the YouTube Extra. But remember, good whiskey equals good friends and good times, and go out and live your life fucking dangerously.
Take care, folks.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
The Watershed Story. A watershed moment might be pivotal, but it might also be quiet and fleeting. It could be a monumentous occasion, a cause for celebration, an enormous triumph, or a small daily victory. A watershed moment could be a rekindling or an observation or a gathering. Any opportunity to relish with friends and family. It's whatever you choose to cheers to, who you're gathered around, and whatever's worth celebrating. We founded Watershed Distillery on the principles of community in 2010. We wanted to live in, work in, and contribute to the community in which we grew up. We aimed to create spirits and stood apart in quality and character. Along the way, we set out to form a community of our own, one that could gather together to savor, celebrate, and enjoy good spirits and company. We've grown from a tiny little still and 2 guys in jumpsuits to a dedicated team of over 40 people and 2 much larger stills. If you're ever in the area, stop by so we can introduce you to our team and pour you some of our award-winning bourbon. Creating it was our watershed moment, but we want to hear about yours.